quarter and expect to come back third and fourth and be the second half team that they have
I
this
think
season.
they can.
I don't think they can.
I think they're capable of it. No, 28-3.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Targeting Podcast.
Yes, sir.
How's everybody? How you got boys doing today? I'm doing well.
Jerry, UVA just with the upset of the fucking century right there.
Did they just beat Duke?
Oh my goodness.
The beak.
Explain to those who didn't watch that game.
Okay, so I'll be honest. It was kind of a game I was looking past because I'm like, it's at Cameron Indoor. Duke's a 7 seed. We're not even ranked. And so I was like, first half, I'm like not gonna watch. Like, I don't want to know if it's like gonna be a disaster. So I'll just watch second. So I'm getting home and I'm like, holy shit, we're still in this game. Like, this is still a real game, right? And it was about like 2 minutes left, right? And Virginia was I believe up 2 at this point. I think it was like 68-66. Or no.
Yeah. That sounds about right.
Something like that. And just crazy things going back and forth. So the ball went out of bounds. UVA had like a horrible play. Like, it was just like poorly executed. Nothing went well. But luckily it went out of bounds somehow. Duke tipped it out, whatever. So they went to review, made sure that happened, whatever, they got out. There was another play where they missed the basket. I forget who it was, but they missed the basket. One of the Duke players gets the rebound, John. I forget his first name, but last name was John. And he gets the rebound, and Kihei just grabs the ball. Literally just grabbed the ball, like, and tied it up. Even though the other player clearly had possession, he just tied it up. And the possession arrow was UVA. So that was a huge point in the game. And then Beekman inbounded to Kihei, did the classic, just switch spots. Beekman for 3, bang, point.
Dude, it should have been a 4-point play too.
Yeah, because he got fouled. 0.7 seconds left. 69-68. Duke didn't really drop a play at the end, and they took him down, the 7 seed. I still don't think they're getting in the tournament, but that's a huge win.
Just want to throw something out there. Just Justin, you noticed it too. He was just like, Duke had the ball last, and then it just cut to.
You did cut out for a second.
Cut out for a second.
I did.
So you just were like, Duke had the ball. They tipped it up. They checked it, and it was like,
Duke had the ball, and Kihei tied it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the possession error was UVA ball, so that was huge. Otherwise, it would have just been a foul. Duke probably wins, and Duke probably wins.
Right. What a crazy upset!
It's honestly crazy, dude. UVA was 1 seed 2 years back, making the tourney, blew it, and then now they have just upset Duke, but they're probably not going to make it. You said.
That
win just might not be. It's just not really their year.
They might get a bot. They might just get like a.
I'm sure UVA will be back on top at some point as far as like having a good team, getting good recruiting classes.
But
Duke's back up though now, 7 seed. Jesus.
Well, speaking of college, while we're on the subject, Kentucky's goddamn rolling. We're the 5 seed in the nation. Oscar Scheffler's still on it there, but sad news actually out of Lexington is that Shaden Sharp, number 1 overall prospect for next year's class, he reclassified, became eligible for the draft, and came to Kentucky late. But he's been here for a couple months now. Long story short, he's supposed to be still a top 10 pick in the draft, but he's not going to play at all for us, which is really
that's tough.
And we've been waiting this whole time thinking we're going to get him at some point because he missed summer training, so we're thinking he's going to come in and be here for the tournament, get some run beforehand, and then be there for the tournament. He's not going to play this year, so that really sucks. Number 1 overall prospect. Finally,
he's probably going straight to the draft.
And he's probably going straight to the draft because, there's speculation that he might come back next year, which he was originally supposed to do. But he applied for eligibility a year early. And it's still unclear, but if he's eligible, he's going to be a top 7 pick. He's projected to go 5 right now on the last mock draft I just looked at, which is crazy. He hasn't played a game in over a year. He's only played in high school. Nobody's even seen him play, but he's still going to be that high pick. I don't see him turning that down to come back. He'd be probably 1 the next year, but you can't turn down being the top 5 pick. So.
I don't really agree with that whole high school going to like NBA right away, unless like back in the day with LeBron and stuff, like it was a little different because I feel like it's obviously like LeBron James, like
it's
a different league. He's a different player. like a different talent level. But
Yeah,
to not even go overseas or play in college, I feel like is just in my
it's like
opinion,
the
like a
most
bad
similar
decision.
to yeah,
Let
it's
me
like the most similar to James Wiseman's case, except he played a couple games and then got banned and couldn't play anywhere. So then he went all year without playing, and then got drafted number 2. We have after not playing all year, but he got banned. He did play for a couple games. Shaden has just never played. He's not gonna, and he just has been training with the team, and he didn't play anywhere. So it's going to be very interesting.
I mean, what I think of
Go ahead, John. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, I mean, I think it's pretty universal around all the leagues with that kind of thing. When I think of that, because I'm not as well versed with these younger guys in the league coming up from high school for basketball, but it makes me think of you're gonna laugh, but Moneyball, Billy Bean, Oakland A's gets offered to go in the first round, and then he can go to forget what it was, but he chooses to go right from high school, and he doesn't hit. He can't hit. He gets frustrated, and he just supposed to be one of the best versatile players in the game at that point, and then it was a bust. It was a bust because you just get there and you get into a slump and you don't have the mindset. I mean, he's a 19-year-old kid, just graduated high school, trying to play in the majors, and he misses college, and that's just that's a step in your growth as a player. You know what I mean? Even just 2 years, I think 2 years in college, I think is good enough.
For basketball, 1 is good enough. It is a really important year for growth and learning to play at a higher level. And so, I mean, he's training with the team, he's practicing with the team, he's warming up and we're up every game before the games. He's taking half court shots, not missing them. He's nasty. So I just don't know why we can't play him, but it is what it is. But
I think though that like that in-game experience is definitely valuable. I know he's training with the team and I know he's doing all that stuff, but I mean, half the college.
I mean, especially in the SEC too. It's the best division in college basketball. Like every game is a big.
That's
like,
the thing.
We just got finished playing a thriller with Alabama, who's unranked. Like every team is good in SEC. Like it's good run.
That's the thing. Like D1 players like face other D1 players, so therefore, like you're seeing the best in the country. Just like overseas, you're seeing some of the best basketball players in the world. High school, sure, you got one game where you're playing like another top team. But not every guy. But not every guy on that team is fucking good. Like not every guy on that team you can say is like respectable. Like some of them are like bums. But D1, like D1's D1. You're not a bum if you made D1. Like you got something to offer. Right. So
another thing is like you're going to be playing that draft class when you finally graduate and you go into your draft class and those guys are making it. You know the guys that are coming back into those teams when you make the NBA. Like you're going to know that class of player.
I just
think, you know what I mean, like Zion knew RJ. Like you know what I'm saying? Like you know that style. You know what your team's going to expect. Sorry to interrupt you, but
no worries. Yeah, I just think total games played is something very underrated in basketball. And while it's hard to do, like the more games you play, the better player you are. I truly believe that, in my opinion. Like that's why like LeBron's great, but the reason why he's at where he's at today is because the dude doesn't miss a lot of games. He's obviously missing a few games because of his injury right now. But overall, the more games you play, the likely better you are to be. Just because you have that experience. You don't need to be perfect night in and night out. But the more games you play, the more experience you get on the court and the easier the game becomes. And I just think guys for like Sharp that are like number 1 ranked, like they're kind of getting a lot of, I'm not saying he's a bad player, but he's getting a lot of smoke blown up his ass. He's going to have high expectations. And the first time you step on a real live court, like real game, just like gameplay, it's going to be interesting. Not saying he can't do it, but it's probably going to be a lot.
Well, chances are the next court he steps onto after this news is an NBA court. So we'll see.
Well, I mean, it's all about, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what sport you're really talking about here. I feel like they're all the same, but especially in basketball, it's all about minutes, like you said. And another thing is that when you think about it, like Jerry, you've had this experience more so. But again, like there's a difference when you get to a higher league. But the guys you're going to be defending, like you said, you could be defending bums. And you could be this elite status player. Obviously, you're going to crush the high school league. You get to college, now you got to face some guys. You're going to have to adjust your game. You're going to have to change it. Another thing is that, Justin, I'm sure you know too, and Jerry, I mean, more so than me, the environment in a college stadium. And we've all been to a Celtics game. You guys can probably speak to just like, I mean, you're at big schools.
Oh, I mean, it's
it's still different though, even to a degree.
Oh yeah,
There's a
the
huge
pace,
change.
totally.
the pace is just faster. High school does feel faster, but it's
Yeah.
I mean, the only
So
thing,
we'll
the last
definitely
thing,
keep an eye on college over the next week. I mean, with March coming up, we'll have a lot to say on that.
yeah,
For sure. But
Definitely.
do we want to get to some Super Bowl stuff here, fellas?
yeah, sounds good. So
Mhm.
but before we get into
Joe
this,
Scheist.
I need to hear picks. So who do we believe is going to be that?
All right.
guy?
Well, should we start right? Or do we want to talk about it a little? I guess. No, you're right. Well, you go
Or
first.
it's up to you. We can talk about it first and then defend, or we can just go
It's
opposite.
such a good matchup, and I
It
think
is a really
that's-
good matchup. Yeah.
That's where it's going to be such a great, enjoyable Super Bowl, no matter what happens, just based on how great a matchup is. I mean, we're talking about two of the highest powered offenses you could possibly imagine. Like, obviously, when you look at that Rams offense, they're obviously loaded, and they have the deep backfield, they have a deep wideout core, but and then you have the Triple Crown winner in Cooper Kupp, an all-time wideout record this year of 1,965 scrimmage yards. And then look across the field and see the Bengal offense led by Joe Burrow. And I didn't even mention Matt Stafford, obviously having a career year for himself. Joe Burrow obviously has been incredible. If you look at that offense, their wide receiving core might be the best in the league. I mean, you're looking at Jamar Chase, a rookie who put up over 1,400 yards and 13 touchdowns. Are you kidding me? T. Higgins, also over 1,000 yards. Tyler Boyd, damn near 1,000 yards for him. Like, to have three almost 1,000-yard receivers on the same roster, as well as having a 1,200-yard running back in Joe Mixon, who was almost the best in the league at that position. I mean, both of these offenses are goddamn loaded. And you look at the flip side, they're two above average defenses as well. So it's going to be an incredible matchup. It's really hard to pick a winner. I mean, if you guys go ahead, take it.
That was go ahead, John. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say. I mean, this for me. I mean, when I think of this, I mean, I don't know what to expect from the Bengals. I mean, all you can really expect is how they've played and just what you see on the roster. The Rams have had a lot of similar players that played in the Super Bowl against the Pats. Now, the level of play from some of those players was different, but going into that, it was, expected to be a really good freaking game. And I think now you don't have Goff. Now you have Stafford. It's a totally different experience. Now
And the
that
whole
Rams
offense
team.
has kind of been retooled.
And it's
offense.
redone. So that's why my expectation for the Rams, I still don't know what to expect coming into here, because you don't
I'll tell you what, it's
expect
not
from
going
the
to be a
Bengals.
13-3 game.
No, it's not. It's not. And I hope it's not, because if it is, it'll be even more of a bust than that one. But let me say this. Before we can get into our predictions, deep down, I think if the Rams win, right? Because on paper right now, I think that the Rams are just slightly better and more favored.
They're the favorite.
If Rams win and, the team plays as it always has, I mean, it's tough for me. I don't see how Stafford couldn't get MVP if he plays a great game. That'll probably be the only Super Bowl he makes, in my opinion, in his career. But at the same time, when I'm thinking about it, if Kupp goes with the amount of yards he gets and gets a touchdown or two, I think it's going to be like an Edelman situation where he gets MVP locked up. There's no way Kupp cannot walk away from that Super Bowl win without a.
Well, yeah, it's going to take a lot from Coop to.
It will.
The Rams
It will.
to win. Like most often when the Rams play well, Cooper Kupp has 200 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Well, I'm saying if Kupp doesn't
happens,
play, then it's going to Stafford, because Stafford will be leading that offense with whatever other weapons he's got down there. But I think on the other end, Bengals, we don't know what to expect. I mean, you got the rookie Jamar Chase, who still is playing out there like he just fucking owns the field. And then you have Joe Burrows. I mean, who came off the injury and is now playing like he's just, got 5 years under his belt right now, making the Super Bowl.
Is it Burrow? It's Burrow, right?
Burrow, yeah, without the S. Burrow. But yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, and neither of those two guys, like you just mentioned, Chase or Burrow, play like they are the age that they are. I mean, they are well above their years of talent and poise and in route running. You go ahead, Jay.
Well, that is the thing I'm worried about for this game is you're right, John, where Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow are definitely above their years in terms of playing. I'm a little worried how a Super Bowl might differ, because like championship games, I feel like typically like in like divisional games. I feel like while their playoffs environment, and it's definitely different for a lot of people, I feel like that like you can kind of get over the hype of the game when you realize that like you're underdogs. Because that's what I'm kind of worried about here. The Bengals have always been viewed in this playoffs as underdogs. We can all agree with that, right?
Easy.
And now I feel like they're at a level where they're not underdogs, and it's whether they view themselves as underdogs. I think that determines if they win the Super Bowl, to be totally honest. If they come with a chip on their shoulder and they feel like they need to prove what they've already done, then I think they can win. Because that's how they came in the Chiefs game. That's how they came into their divisional game versus
Tennessee. They were the ones.
Tennessee, right. They came in with a chip on their shoulder, Tennessee and the Chiefs. So I feel like for both of those games, the reason why they were so good was because no one was really expecting them to win the game, right? So like everyone kind of just assumed that like, they put up a good fight, but they wouldn't actually win, and now they're winning. So I'm a little worried with this game that they're kind of at a level where they think, not that they're not good, but they still got more. There's more of a job to be done. Whereas the Rams, right, like they're expecting something, but like they're still a good team. And not that the Bengals aren't, but like the Rams have just like they defied odds, but everyone was like, okay, this Rams team's good, right? Stafford's playing unbelievable. Yeah. Cooper Kupp's an unbelievable option. You got Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey on the defensive end. That's all you really need. So like, I think whether they come in with a chip on their shoulder is a huge thing of whether they're going to win this game or not. But I don't know.
It's a good point.
It's going to be interesting. I'm excited.
It's going to be very interesting.
I'm excited more for the defensive part of this game than the offensive. That sounds very stupid to say, but let me explain why. Because the Rams defense is very good, right? So you're going up against Joe Burrow, who's basically took apart all defenses so far, right? You're going up against an exceptional Rams defense. I thought they played great in their last 2 games, right? On the other side of things, right, you got Cooper Kupp, who's a great weapon. You got Stafford playing out of his mind. But the Bengals have showed up this playoffs. They made the adjustments that they needed to make in games, and they showed up. So I'd be intrigued to see that it won't be who can score the most points. It will be who can stop the other team the most.
And actually, your point about making the right adjustments for the Bengals defense is extremely true. I mean, a lot of their wins come in comeback form, where you come out of the half and their defense is looking entirely different. They set up in a different way, and the offense similarly does well. But I think if you can, I mean, it's obvious, it goes without saying, but I just think if you're the Bengals, try to not have to come back in this one. Like if you want to throw the first punch, you want to get on the board first.
Yeah,
you want to come out flying. If you catch yourself behind, I know it worked against Kansas City and it worked against Kansas. You don't want to fall behind.
I mean, the Bengals have been, Burrow said it this year too. I think he said it recently in an interview, but they're a second half team. They've been this entire season. They've just second half. They've played well no matter what, but like, especially in that last game we witnessed, they're a second half team. Now, what I think personally though, is coming into this game, it can't be, and I don't think it's possible for, Burrow and his team for this to I'll just make a comparison. I don't think it's really a comparison, but what I'm trying to say is that you can't have the Atlanta versus Patriots situation here. You can't blow the first quarter, second quarter, and expect to come back third and fourth and be the second half team that they have this season.
They can.
I don't think they can.
I think they're capable of it. Now, 28-3, that's just a GOAT thing. But they're capable of mounting a comeback and going into half down and winning that football game. I think they are. They've proven it all season.
What I'm saying is, though, yeah, okay. Any team,
I know what you're saying, but
any team is capable of that. But I'm saying you need to look at the extent to which they are down. There's going to be
obviously.
Not taking into account that the Falcons also fucked up a lot of their plays, but if the Rams play consistent through the entire game, it doesn't matter if you're putting up a touchdown every drive if the Rams are still kicking field goal. So I'm just saying that. It's just that I think the Rams are going to be very consistent in this game. I expect.
Yeah. But what I will say is that if they are down by like 2 touchdowns, maybe 2 touchdowns and a field goal, I don't.
No, I think it's no. I don't think it's over.
Possible
No.
for Burrow to come back, because I think
No, I agree.
I truly believe with the adjustments made, like they will adapt to the situation at hand. That's why I don't think if anything's going to happen in this game, the Rams are going to blow out the Bengals. Definitely not the opposite though, because at least the Bengals have not proven to that to me at this point. Because like in every game, you haven't really seen the Bengals come out hot. Which right, Justin, they definitely need to, but they haven't. They just been like kind of like, we'll feel them out. We'll see what happens. It's always in that second half when the defense is like, oh shit, we got to get back in this game. We need a couple stops. We needed to like, because that defense is just different. Like when they need to stop, they're a different defense. Because I'm telling you now, like at the end of the fourth quarter, that Chiefs game, what I saw was like crazy in terms of like Patrick Mahomes is on the 30-yard line and he's not scoring a touchdown. He's not even getting I don't even think he got a field goal. Yeah.
He was like visibly like flustered.
No, they didn't get a field goal. He fell on the ground. He got upset.
I don't know if they were like,
they
just figured it out or Mahomes actually shit the bed, but like that was just a different defense. You put that same exact position in the first quarter, that's not happening at all. So I just think that I don't know if the Bengals come out like as hot, but if they can keep it within a reasonable amount by the second half, I think this is a very winnable game for them. I don't think they'll blow them out though. I just don't think.
I don't think you're getting blown out if you're the Bengals, but if there is one outcome that could come out of this game, it's the Rams would be the team to blow out.
I think it's possible.
Bengals before the Bengals I think the Bengals would get blown out before the Rams got blown out. I mean, let me just say, the Bengals got chemistry this season. They have a lot of great pieces, and they have chemistry. The Rams have chemistry, and they have so many Pro Bowl top players that just had to have taken pick. I mean, you look at the lineup, like, they just signed OBJ. Like
it
they
couldn't
kept
be a more win now roster.
No, but I'm saying
definitely.
is what I'm saying is this was like when Brady and the Bucks started moving their pieces everywhere a little bit.
It feels a little bit like it, yeah.
Because here's what I'm saying is
especially like adding Von Miller,
you kept Aaron Donald, you kept Jalen Ramsey. Now you just got fucking Matthew Stafford. I got it up here. You have Cooper Kupp, and he's having a stellar season. You sign OBJ.
Mid-season though,
Sony Michel, you even pick up. Sony Michel, I mean, a ex-Patriot, and then you get, like you said, I mean, you also have Eric Weddle.
Well, and Sony Michel is the third running back on the roster. I know they're not all healthy, and we'll have to see what Cam Akers' status is going to be. But they have Darrell Henderson too. Like they have a bunch of good running backs on that roster.
But even like
he's not.
When
healthy,
you come into the Super Bowl, even I mean, that's the thing that the Bucks did though is they had 3 running backs and they just switched them in and out because now they have all different styles of play. But now you have, I mean, like I was looking at it like a little while ago, but I mean, even Leonard Floyd, bro, like you've secured so many guys that have just like they're strong. Like Tyler Higbee too has been there. I mean, you've got a lot of guys on this team that have played out this season. A lot of them have been with the team and been to that last Super Bowl. Von Miller, like you just said, and Sony Michel have been to their own Super Bowls. So it's really going to be an interesting game.
What I will say is if the Bengals can stop Cooper Kupp somehow, some way, I don't think the Rams have a shot.
I think personally, if you're going to go about stopping Cooper Kupp, you need to have one cornerback focus on him and just take his game down, or you got to double team him. I think you got to double team him, and I think you're going to have to leave some guy open, and you're going to have to choose.
I don't think Cooper Kupp is a one-man job. He's not.
So what I'm saying is then, so then let's say, all right, you double team him, right? Right. So you got to
it's the whole entire defense. All 11 players on the field have to be aware of Cooper. Like he's so talented.
So I think the strategy is then to, no matter what the setup is on the defense, your number one priority is 2 guys on Cooper Kupp. However you want to do it. Then you got to watch Higbee. And you're gonna have to leave some guy. You got to watch OBJ, but you're gonna have to leave someone else open. You can't leave OBJ unguarded. You can't leave Cooper Kupp not double man. And unless Tyler Higbee's blocking, I don't think you can.
I'd rather leave Higbee open though. Let me explain why. I think they should go more of like a man zone route, where it's not blatantly obvious that you're friggin' like double teaming Cooper Cup, because then obviously they're going to just find the open guy. But you sort of have like that initial man. Can you guys still hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, man.
Well, you got that initial man, right? And if he gets lost because Cooper Cup made a cut or something, or he went downfield, that second layer of zone, that's what you have for. Because all I've seen so far is you got like one guy, and then Cooper Cup makes a cut, and then no one else on the field knew where he fucking was. Because
I think you just got to have a safety as a spy over there.
Just like
Cooper
a spy,
Cup's end of the field.
Exactly.
On Cooper Cup ends of the field, just hovering like McCourty did sometimes, man. That's just like I know McCourty's way of doing it the best when he had to do that type of thing is just sitting there, watching it, and then you jump in, or even Harmon does it too.
But if but I would much rather have the Rams if I'm the Bengals trot down the field and consistently make plays rather than just like, oh, we'll go 2 downs and then it's a 75-yard fucking pass to Cooper Cup. Like, no, make them make a play.
Well, by the way, on the other end, it's no easy task for the Rams, because Jamar Chase is no slouch either. He'll get the Ramsey assignment, but they have a lot that they have to worry about as well. And we already talked about too the 3-headed monster they have at wide receiver. So and the running back. It's going to be such a good game.
I think another thing.
Do you guys want to make predictions?
Yeah, but let me say one thing. John, say your last thing.
Okay. No, you can say it right now. You can say it right now.
The key for the Bengals, and I know it wasn't for the Titans, but that's just a different game for me. You need to give Burrow time. Like, you're just going to have to. I'm a little worried with Aaron Donald, like, on the D-line, how well that offensive line is going to hold up.
I think I'm going to be honest with you. The way that the Rams defense is situated, Burrow is going to have to adjust a bit, because last game he played, he had a bit more time. I wasn't as scared as the defense as I would be with the Rams situation here. I was confident. But what I think is that Burrow is, I just don't see how he's going to be able to really scramble very much if Aaron Donald is coming down your fucking throat, or unless he has big opening. He has a big opening. So really, you need to give him time.
I need to get open. Need to stay in the pocket, and the only way he's going to be able to do that is your O-line gives him time. But
I'll be honest with you. It's a really good point. That is the key factor. I think the O-line. I think you're going to have to show up for Cincinnati.
You're going to see if he starts getting pressured really bad. Like this, a lot of QBs do this, but this is something that Brady did all the time. When Brady got pressured in the gut, and Burrow is probably going to play a little bit more of a pocket passing role in this game, and Brady got pressured in the gut, he just threw it to his running back. His running back just up, over, threw it to him, 5 yards, 6 yards, whatever, maybe even more. That's what you're going to have to really do if Jamar's not open, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to have to find one guy for 5 yards, even a yard, because he can't scramble. He's not going to be able to scramble like he did the last game.
Yeah,
I don't think he will. Sorry, go
ahead, John.
I was going to say, I was just going to say a few things, just a few little tidbits that I was going to say too that play into this game that I was looking at earlier is the Bengals now as an organization haven't been here since 89, right? Just something to take into account. Second thing is that the Bengals coach, though, was the quarterback's coach for the Rams, the last Super Bowl that the Rams made it to in 19. So he's been here. He knows what the Super Bowl vibe is.
Zach Taylor.
And both Sean McVay and him are under 40 years old. So
they're both great coaches.
They're going to be both under 40 coaches, under 40 years old. And now, on top of that, the Rams will be the first NFL team to host a title conference and a Super Bowl at their own place and be the home team.
Yeah, right. Because the Bucks were in Green Bay last year, and then they had their home Super Bowl. But it's back-to-back home Super Bowls. That's kind of fucked up. But
so what I'm saying though is that plays into it. The Bucks, it helped the Bucks a lot. I think. Not gonna lie to you, it helps a bit because those people that are buying tickets, if you're a Rams fan. If this happened to the Pats, if the Pats made it to the Super Bowl, if I could convince my family to do it, I would.
Be in New England, ever.
It would never be in New England. But I'm saying that if you had that opportunity as a fan base, and your parents, had the money, you got to convince them. Like, you're not going to get that opportunity ever again.
Yeah.
Yeah, so-
a lot of
If we're
season
going-
ticket holder.
But if we're going predictions, right? What do you guys got? I got 27-17 Rams.
Scores as well. Okay. You say Rams?
Yeah.
Rams for Jerry. All right, John. What about you?
I think it's going to be 36-27 Rams.
Okay.
I just see it being
okay.
a high scoring game. I got to trust in that. I think it's going to be higher scoring than what people
Yeah.
are going to expect.
People
I
thinking,
think
fair
the
enough.
Rams will. I think the defenses will play a huge role here, Jerry. I agree with you, but I think that the way that the offenses are situated, I just feel like there's no way that the offenses can't be scoring.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah.
true. McPherson will get.
So Rams for
should.
Rams.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go.
You
I'm
can change
going
it up if you want.
27. I'm going 27-24 Bengals. Evan McPherson, Money Mac for the
McPherson!
win. Money Mac for the win.
Shooter
Game-winning
McPherson.
field goal. Bengals
Shooter.
win the Super Bowl. That's what I'm
Shooter.
going with. Who day?
So Justin,
And by the way, all
Justin,
this
you got to
talk
make a
before
nice
we
little
move on
post
to
for that.
all
You got to make a
this-
nice little. You got to make a nice little post for that. So here, I'm going to write it down for you. Right
I
in the
will.
chat
I
so
will.
you can-
Rams. But, oh yeah, I'll get the score as well. But before all this talk about Joe Burrow at this young age, doing what he's doing, pretty soon we'll be talking about Mac Jones doing the same thing. Doing the same thing. So give it time. But Mac Jones is up next. Either way.
Did we hire Gasse as our offensive coordinator?
Have we hired an offense coordinator? I'm not sure. I know.
Oh, I thought I knew we were
lost McDaniel.
Well, I mean, while you're looking
I-
for that, Juice,
I
if
heard-
you want to look for that, I mean, I can throw out one thing that happened that people probably remember. I mean, we had the Pro Bowl on top of that, but not only that,
I
the
think-
Washington Commanders. What do we think of that, boys?
True. Yeah, no longer football team before we leave football. Yeah, that is true. The Commanders. It's cool. I mean, I like that they're not the football team, so I'm just glad they picked the name. They kept the same colorway and everything, so I'm glad they just picked the name.
There's also a lot of big coaching hires. I mean, what was it? I think the Bills lost. Did the Bills gain a coach or lost? I freaking
Yeah.
forget. I
They
mean, I
We'll
know-
go- we'll
Brian
go into it
Daboll,
next.
We could talk about that.
We'll go into next week.
we can go into it
But,
next week.
yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
saying that
Because we
But
do
yeah.
have some big time NBA news actually with the trade deadline. We should
Just-
shift into that because two big time NBA trades happened this week. First of which was Norman Powell from the Blazers got traded to the Clippers for pennies on the dollar when the Blazers need to be bringing in assets. They got absolute dirt shit back for Norman Powell, who was one of their most valuable assets. Wow. I mean, it just makes no sense to me, and I definitely want to hear your take on this. But so here's what it was. It was Norman Powell for Eric Bledsoe, Justice Winslow, Keon Johnson, and a second-round pick. Eric Bledsoe. And I know Keon is the young piece. He's a rookie, late first-round pick or early second, like in the 28 range.
Yeah.
He's fine. He went to Tennessee. Like he's had a fine year. He's a prospect, so they did get a young piece and a second round pick. They even get a first from Norman Powell. And what a steal for the Clippers, by the way.
No, but
when
they
Paul
also
George and
no, but they
Kawhi
also
back
got
have now
Covington,
Norman
didn't
Powell to fit with them. But say it again. And Covington,
Yes.
sorry, it was Norman Powell and Robert Covington. You're absolutely right.
okay.
The Clippers,
So
the
can I
Clippers
just?
got Norm and Covington for fucking nothing for Eric Bledsoe.
I'll
They didn't
just
have to
say
give him
right.
a pick.
I'm just gonna say right now. I think the Clips won this one.
Well, it's not even close. They that's
Like-
robbery.
Like
They
I
stole Norman Powell after nothing.
I mean, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, Jerry and you are gonna have way more to say on it than me. But I mean, we talked about this last year about Eric Bledsoe. We talked about this. None of us thought Eric Bledsoe was worth very much, and when we did a whole little trade talk, and then on top of that, like I'm pretty sure Covington came into it at some point. I'm sure, but he is a sneaky little thing in there. Like he is a win, but like the value you see in that trade, a lot of people are going to overlook him like you did in your discussion. Normal Powell's the big talk, Eric Bledsoe, but Covington, you get him. That's a
Justin,
win, dude.
Justin, let me ask you, and John, you can answer too. Do you think the Blazers did this because this is not their last final move?
Well, and that's where I would love, like, the biggest thing for me with this trade was I just don't understand the direction. Like, if they were to have traded him for picks and young players, like I would have thought, okay, like At least they're going to try to go into a rebuild. And maybe you are right. Maybe they're not done. Maybe they still are going to deal CJ somewhere else and fully go into this rebuild. But they didn't get win now. They didn't get anything to win now. They traded for an older, shitty point guard, Eric Bledsoe, who's having a horrible year, shooting worst splits of his career and worst numbers of his career. I mean, he's just been bad. And so you're not going to trade for a young piece. You're going to trade for a 30-plus-year-old guy who's not going to help you win now and isn't going to help you rebuild for the future. What direction? What was the direction of that? Why even make the trade? And the other thing is, Norman Powell was one of the hottest commodities, and we talked about him last week with the Blazers. He was one of the hottest commodities on the market, and they're telling me the Blazers really didn't get a better phone call from any other team than Eric Bledsoe. I don't believe that. There's just Norman Powell. A bunch of people were looking for him, and there were so many rumors about him. They couldn't have found a better package elsewhere. That's just
I think what's also amazing to me is that Clips are 8 seed right now, right? I mean, and in the West, them and the Lakers are fighting for it right now. The Blazers are 3-4 spots below them, right? And the Blazers have been struggling a bit recently.
I mean, they're riddled with injuries,
and they lost to I know that they lost to the Lakers. What was it, 3-4 games ago? But
they have been
this trade
really bad.
This trade, it doesn't when you look at it. For me, this, and for you guys too, I'm gonna speak for you both. I think this trade just helps the Clippers get a spot for the playoffs, if anything.
But it's not even about that
but it's not about that.
Under contract for the next couple of years. So now you're looking at when Kawhi and PG are back next year, you'll have Reggie, Norman Powell, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, and Zubac. It's a great five, and that makes them a lot better looking for as far as contending goes.
When you look at the Blazers, all you did was you lost Powell. And now you got Lillard, and what's his fucking name?
Still CJ.
Was it Larry Nance? And you got fucking CJ, and then
Anthony Simons will be off the bench still, unless
Eric
they do ditch
Bledsoe,
CJ.
though. When you
Eric
think
Bledsoe,
about it,
they might just literally waive him.
What I'm telling you is, when you think about it, Eric Bledsoe for those two guys is really what you look at this trade. The other pieces just don't do shit.
Keon Johnson, the real bulk of it, honestly, is Keon Johnson and the second round pick. But those are very, very minimal assets. I know that when you make a trade like that, you want to go young. You want to get a good young player and a first round pick. They got a mediocre young prospect and a second round pick. Not good. They did not do a good job with that. But those are probably the bulk of the assets. They're not looking at Eric Bledsoe as a future. No way, shape, or form. They literally might just waive him. He's so bad. But I mean, do you think they're not done, Jay?
I hope they're not done. It's hard to tell right now, but I just don't see I don't see a world where this would be a good trade for them, at all. There's just no. Yeah. You lost 2 good players in exchange for 3 not 3 shitty ones, but 3 not great ones, and you didn't even get a first round pick. You got a second round pick. So for me, it's hard to not look at it any other way. Because if I'm a Blazers fan, I'm pissed. You just gave away 2 guys that could have helped us actually be something. Now you just give them away. Oh, Eric Bledsoe is going to lead you to the promised land? Fuck no. And you're not going to get a good young guy off of your second round fucking pick. You have no idea where that will land. So I'd be interested to see if this is just it'd be interesting to see a scenario where they want to make a deal to get a big player, a small forward or power forward, but they can't really do it with Powell or Covington. It's more plausible to do it with a lot of just younger pieces and sort of a team has a good player, but they're not going anywhere with the good player. So they'd rather just fucking build from the ground up, sell the player off, gets a few people. I don't know where that is, but I just don't see how this would benefit them in any other way. Unless they want to tank, which is if they want to tank, go ahead. But
if they want to tank, then trade CJ before the deadline. Do it now because you just get it started. The more they just keep delaying it, it's God, everybody knows this about Portland. They're inevitably going to a rebuild. Get it over with, fellas. Especially while Dame is still Dame has said he wants to stay. Get your rebuild on the move so that a year from now, 2 years from now, you guys can be good again. You keep doing this, you're never going to ever be good enough.
I'm shocked that Lillard even wants to stay. Like,
I'm shocked.
I respect Dame. You're not running from the grind, right? But there's a
That's the thing, too.
difference
You're not running from
between
the grind.
but there's a difference between not running from the grind and you'll never win a championship. Like you're like
Well,
there's a
now
difference.
any potential of it now is gone. Here's another thing that you got to think about too. I mean, this is what the conversation was. I just forgot about it. Is from last year. I think the Clippers have won this trade, but other than that, when you think of it in the bigger picture, the Bucks have won all of this too, because they got rid of Bledsoe and George Hill in the swap for Holiday, and now Bledsoe is being traded again
Was
to another team.
Holiday
So,
part of all of that?
yeah, he was in the 4-team swap. So now the Bucks got rid of a guy that they may have kept for another year had they not been able to secure the Holiday situation. And Bledsoe now has just been floated around now because he's just
Bledsoe
this
has just
package
never
piece
been
that
good. He just doesn't provide anything.
No,
Not a
Bledsoe
good-
is just
great
this
guy.
guy.
Not a good-
Bledsoe
he's
is
not
just
a-
this name. I
he's
think
not a
in
good
in a
scorer.
package deal that you just throw in there and say Eric Bledsoe, and a team goes,
He's not.
"Yeah, we'll
he's
take
not-
him."
He's not a good scorer. Like he does everything to a mediocre degree. Like he's not like horrible at scoring, but he can't really. You're not going to give him the ball like final seconds.
but, like,
He's not
I'm
a
just-
He can't
special
really rebound.
playmaker.
He's
but
not a player. He can't do anything. So it's just like at this point for the Blazers, it's like, what's your real issue here? And
That's all I want
honestly,
from them, is just show us the direction you want to go in. That's all. I
yeah.
want. That's all.
So
I
I'm
want.
hoping for
Well,
another deal, but I just honestly, Damian Lillard is never going to listen to this podcast, but in the rare case that he does,
He's never gonna make a championship if he doesn't leave.
fucking leave. There's nothing in Portland. There's a reason
And you
why they
said
don't
it,
win
Jerry.
championships. You're not running from the grind. There's a difference
It's not.
between you're not running
That-
from the grind. Go run to the grind somewhere else. Like there's plenty of places. Come to Boston. You can still grind. Like there's a
I'd love
difference.
him in Boston.
There's a difference between like not running from the grind. You want to hear my like controversial opinion, and then we can move on. I think he wants a bag. Like
He already
at thi-
has the ultra super quadruple max. He's making 50+ million per
At
year.
this
No.
point-
You need a ring. He needs a
At
ring.
this
he
point-
he has all the money in the world. He needs a ring.
At this point, there's nothing else convincing me of anything
I'm
else.
telling you
because-
right now, if Lillard doesn't get a ring, he is just one of those players that had an unbelievable career, and that was it. Just a good seasonal career. Nothing
I
else.
just-
I'm sorry.
they-
Dame Time will leave history as just Dame Time. That's it. If he gets a ring, then people will remember him as, you know what, he was that one ring guy, but he had a fucking great season.
Don't get me
he
wrong.
doesn't need 2 or 3 rings. He doesn't need
I
to be
res-
Steph Curry to get
I res-
himself solidified.
I respect the fuck out of Dame because not a lot of players, will do that. There not a lot of players are going to be like, you know what, I'm going to stay here. I'm going to grind. But at this point, he's got to look at the organization where it's going.
It's the same thing with
If you
Beal, Mike.
look at that trade, I don't know how any player on that team looks at that trade and says, oh, yep, I'm going to stay. That sounds like good. We got Eric Bledsoe. Great. We got a 2nd round pick. Fucking great. For Norman Powell and Covington, 2 of your best guys. Fuck no. Like at this point, he's got to go to a different team. He's not going to win anywhere else. He's not going to win in Portland. There's a reason Portland doesn't win. It's just like how Sacramento is never going to get a fucking ring. Portland's never going to get a ring. So go to LA, go to Boston, go to fucking New York City.
Do not go to LA. Do not go to LA. But I do agree with you.
Don't go to LA.
I think everything you
But-
said was exact. I think everything you said was true. Like
I
at a
just
certain point, and I'm glad you said it too, because I respect him so goddamn much. You cannot. I can't stress enough how much I do respect the loyalty. But I think at this point, everybody has acknowledged his incredible loyalty. Nobody else in basketball has ever been this loyal like the way
But-
that he is. But it's not running from the grind anymore. Nobody would accuse him of that if he left.
But you
Nobody
can't-
would.
I mean,
Nobody
but
would.
you can't like. I don't see how Blazers fans could even say he's running away after that trade. If I'm a Blazers
He's
fan,
done
I would.
everything
If I'm a
you
Blazers
possibly could
fan,
for that city.
dude, if I'm a Blazers fan, I'm literally telling him to please pack his bag for his career's sake because it'd be selfish to have this man lose. Like I'm gonna be honest with you, if he stays there and he doesn't win a championship and he just stays for money, I don't know how you can get a Hall of Fame spot or you could even have like this. I mean, like he's a great player. Not gonna lie to you. I mean, just you got to look long term here. You need basketball look how many guys are top scorers and how many don't have a ring still. And they're just going to be known as a top scorer. The guys that live on, the guys that are going to be known, have at least one ring and have at least one spot on that shooting board.
The last thing I'll say, and then I'll.
It's the same with Beal to me as well. It's the same with Beal. Needs to get out of there.
The last thing I'll say,
he's a little younger, but you know,
Justin, and then Justin will move on. But you can't be loyal to a city that doesn't give a fuck if you're loyal to them. I said it. Portland, you are shitty fans. You have a shitty fan base. If he comes to Boston,
think it's the fans. I think it's the front office. They haven't built they never ever given him a good team to put it they put good teams, but not championship level teams. They've never given him a good defending wing. How's it been 10 years and they've never had a small or power forward ever? How has that happened for 10 straight years? Go bring in a fucking wing.
Because they're stuck on Greg Oden.
No,
fucking Roy. They're like, oh, we had Brandon Roy.
Legit,
really?
I know
you can't be the 30th ranked defense in the NBA for 8 years in a row. Fix it. It's just not that. It's not right.
I just think it's
they're dead last every year. Fix your defense.
I'm gonna sound like a.
We do got to move on.
We got to move on. I'm just gonna say. I mean, we got to wrap up soon, anyways, in a second. But I was gonna say, I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but I just still can't get over the fact that Bledsoe has been sent within 2 years now to 2 different teams, and it seems like each time he's left, the team getting rid of him won, and the team getting him has lost substantially.
I would be surprised if a year from now Bledsoe is still in the league. He's going to be gone. He's going to be waived. I think the Blazers will probably waive him.
Because let me be honest with you.
That'll be it.
The LA Clippers are a playoff team, and they've just solidified themselves to just, be a little stronger come next season. The Bucks solidified themselves so that now this season they're the 3 seed and they're fighting for that one. Like these teams are looking for themselves.
So
last thing before we end is just the other trade this week was Karis LeVert to the Cavs. Massive trade as well. Such a great. I mean, it's been rumored for a while, and especially since Colin Sexton's been injured. But I mean, the Cavs are the 4 seed right now.
Where did he come from?
And they just brought in a 20-point per game guard who is looking for like a ball handling, a guy you could put next to Garland that is going to fit like a glove. I honestly am super.
Wasn't LeVert somewhere else? Where was LeVert before that? Where was LeVert?
He was in Indiana, and before that he was in
Brooklyn,
but
Indiana.
Didn't he get? Yeah, okay, that's what it was. He got traded.
He was part of the James Harden trade, actually.
Yeah. That's what it was. That's what yeah. That's a good thing.
No, that's huge for them. I'm excited to see what this Cavs team can do because
Jerry, you spoke highly of LeVert last year during that little trade talk too.
No, he was a good player. I thought that was a dumb move.
I felt like you said he was a good sneak in there, a good pickup.
He's a good sneaky player. It's not like when you say his name, like probably half of the regular population knows him. Like he's not like a memorable name, but I think at the same time, like definitely a great player. And what the Cavs have been doing this season without him is impressive. And I'm excited to see what they'll do with him going forward. So
and because they were winning, and then Sexton was injured for the year, and then Rubio stepped in, and Rubio went down for the year, and without that secondary ball handler next to Garland, they were still winning games, but it just didn't look quite as good. To bring in LeVert, and you might be getting Sexton back at some point, and they're already a 4 seed looking at a home advantage. Like this is a team now that is way more filled out. Obviously, the bigs with Jared Allen, who did not make the All-Star game, he should have, but Evan Mobley probably going to win Rookie of the Year. It's a really good team. So we'll see. I don't know what their ceiling is, but I don't really love them in like a playoff series per se yet because they're really young and new. But we'll see. That's a conversation for down the line.
Definitely, but I'm excited to see what they'll do. But they're looking good and
big time W for the Cavs there.
Yeah,
but that's pretty much all we got. I think
Nets just got to get their shit together because they're fucking up, but that's about it. Yeah,
I know. We'll have definitely more talks about the Nets because they've lost 8 in a row, and we'll hit on that next week for sure.
Next week,
that's really bad. And
next week,
we'll see. We'll see what happens at the deadline. The next episode will be after the deadline. So hopefully we get some more trade stock to hit you guys with next week. Super Bowl this weekend, fellas. Enjoy it. Let's go Bengals.
It's kind of surreal.
That's what I was going to say. What are you going to say? Let's go Bengals. Let's go Rams. So.
Hey, let's go. You know what? This is the thing, Jerry. I want the Rams to win for my little bet sake here, but Joey Shiesty, Joe Burr. Come on, baby. For Harambe. For Harambe.
Okay. All right. Time to end it. Thank you for staying this long. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, and comment your Super Bowl favorite.
Yeah.
And boys, as always, nice talking to you.
Always a pleasure,
Peace.
fellas.
Peace.